Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to Caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
It's back. The Grier is running. Bobby, you know, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fitz Talk today on the Fitz Talk Sports Network. That's Fish Tank Hank. I'm Bobby Fitz Talk. How y'all doing? Plenty to talk about. Fish Tank, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You know, I did my photo shoot. Everything's good. My swimsuit edition's coming out next week.
We got the calendar. We got a calendar.
Yeah, I got to do a calendar.
Oh my.
Yeah,
oh my.
I might do it.
Goodness gracious. Look out for that. Just warn me before you do so I don't have to open up my laptop at work.
Well, I'll be in swimsuit edition now.
Oh, might not be so bad. Okay. All right.
You know, might be neon or something, but.
Well, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching from Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching from, we appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. My allergies still kicking my butt, but I am here. Fitz is in the house.
What's up, everybody?
I create the episode. I create the graphic. You know how to get on X. Get up on there. Promote your show. If I have time, I'll do it as I do everything else. I know you're playing. Fitz dancing.
Whoa!
I forgot to promote the show.
Risky already.
What else do you want from me? But so much to talk about, Fish Tank.
Risky. I mean, you know, I'm trying to help you out here, Bobby. So slow down a little bit because I'm trying to absorb a little so your allergies are at bay. You know what I mean? So,
appreciate you, brother.
You know, we can't have people picking on us though at the beginning. You know, so I'm glad you're here to take care of us. Finstanza, though, you know, that's my junior, so you know, I'm kind of stuck in the middle with you guys.
Yeah, you had Bandwagon on Thursday night. How was that show?
You know, it was fabulous. Getting with Evan is always a good time. Getting with Evan is always a good time. I mean, every now and then I have to stop him. You know what I mean? Because you know, he yells at me a lot and says, "Oh, no, we're not talking about that yet." And then I'll go to talk about something else. "Oh, no, we're not talking about that." And then I go, you know, we're not talking about anything. You have no agenda. You have no agenda, but yet I can't talk about anything. So that's how it usually goes.
He has the agenda. He's like, "No, you don't know yet. I have the outline over here." Share the agenda, homeboy. Share the agenda. I'll talk with him.
That's my son. We're in it together. We have a great time.
Yes.
We enjoy doing the show. And we're going to be on there steady, he tells me now, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Come join us on the Fins bandwagon and see what we've got. That's the most positive Dolphins show out there. Come give us a shot. 8 p.m. Thursday.
There you go. You guys talked about it. but we're going to obviously talk about it because it's the biggest news for Miami right now. You think Miami with no cap, or the way they started, they were over the cap. They've had a very eventful offseason so far, free agency. And you think, okay, after those signings they had, they're done. They're going to wait till the draft, see if they make a trade down, get some picks. But that's not the case. All of a sudden, Barry Jackson comes out and says Miami is very interested in Odell Beckham Jr. They like him a lot. When I talked about it, it screams Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel and company, Chris Grier, from Texas, flew back to Miami to meet with him before their flight to Michigan. They rushed back to Miami in order to meet with him. They had a great visit, no contract yet. The latest was, I believe, from Jim Fowler I saw on X, where he said Miami and Odell Beckham are very interested in each other, and Miami wants to pair him with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, but they're not willing to overpay. Fish tank. Yes. Let's say the deal is $11 million 1 year. Let's say that's the deal that Odell wants. You're running the Dolphins. You know what your resources are. You know what he could be to the team. Are you willing to spend $11 million for 1 year on Odell?
No. He better be coming in on something friendly because, it's a W-3. He knows he's filling a W-3. You're not going to get $11 million to be a wide receiver 3. It doesn't make any sense anywhere. I mean, I would like to see OBJ on the team. That would be great. He's an awesome wide receiver 3. Don't get me wrong. However, if you're talking $11 million a year, no. But if you're talking like $6 million with incentives, it might come out to $10 million. Then we're talking.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who are absolutely against signing Odell. They are absolutely against. Oh, he's dating a Kardashian. Oh, he's not willing to be a number 3 receiver. First of all, he wasn't the number 1 receiver in Baltimore. And secondly, he would be our 3rd wide receiver. I feel a whole lot better with Tyreek, Jalen, Odell, Barrios, and whoever else is back there than Tyreek, Jalen, Barrios, Eazy-E, and whoever else, Robbie Chosen, whoever else is back there. Yeah. Because if Tyreek blows himself up again, and trying to go for 2,000 yards and runs out of gas towards the end of the season, and Jalen's in and out of the lineup, I would rather have someone like Odell there who can kind of fill in that spot, but also be your 3rd guy. We know he's not the same Odell. He knows he's not the same Odell Beckham. Yeah.
Not even close, Bobby. I mean,
he's still Odell Beckham Jr. He could still make some great catches. He could still be a solid wide receiver in that receiver room, but at the right price. I wouldn't hate the move. I'd be happy about the move if it went down. However, if Miami did not sign him, I wouldn't hate it either. Because, Fish Tank, I love the receiving class this year in the draft. This draft is strong. There's a lot of solid wide receivers. I mean, of course, the bread and butter are the top of the draft with Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze. Those 3 guys.
I don't see any of those guys.
Those guys aren't going to go our way. Would love to see it, but more than likely not.
Hey, I would love to see it, but you would have to trade away an awful lot to go up and get a wide receiver. So, no.
But here's the thing. The receiving room is the draft class is so strong that I believe Miami has to think of that. And I have to assume as leverage. Hey, look, we want to add a 3rd receiver. Miami is very much interested. I was more thinking of Tyler Boyd out of Cincinnati. I know everybody was kind of hammering for Michael Thomas. Supposedly, Miami did talk to a higher-end free agent, maybe Tyler Boyd or Michael Thomas, and the contract that they were looking at, it wasn't good for that receiver. So Miami is really interested in getting another receiver, especially a very good one. So don't be surprised that if they don't get Odell, that at that 21 pick or the trade down, whatever happens, that they go and grab that receiver. Whomever that may be. Brian Thomas, Lad McConkey, Javon Baker, UCF later on the 2nd or 3rd, round. That dude is a stud. There's a lot of good receivers that I think Miami is sitting pretty, in my opinion. What do you think?
I like where we're at. And I like the later rounds are 158. I really like Luke McCaffrey. That's who I like, is Luke McCaffrey late. Pick up those other big bodies that we need early and grab him around 150 something if he's still on the board. If he's not, then drop it down to around 200, 198 maybe, our 198 pick or our 241, because he'll fall somewhere in between there. And we'll talk about him a little later today. Cornelius. That's
out
who
of
I
Michigan.
like.
Cornelius Johnson out of Michigan.
And we're going to talk about him today. So I'm not going to get too into it, but him around 200, he's a big body. He has yet to break out at Michigan. He's yet to fill the shoes of what he's been talked about. He ran a 4.4 at the combine or whatever, the pro day or whatever he had done. It was a 4.4 from what I remember. And you know, the kid's got a lot of talent. You just haven't seen him, and he's a big body. Big body. I think he's like 210, 220, something like that. He's big. So he's not going to get pushed around out there. So I think there's a lot of things he needs to learn as far as his routes. I think he needs to – things that can be taught, though. He needs better positioning on the ball sometimes. That can all be taught. That can all be taught. And once he's taught those things, I think he'll be a great asset. Like I said, this is only if we don't pick somebody up earlier. You know what I mean? This is a late round draft pick where it's a big body, and you know he has the possibility to perform running at a 4.4 at 6'3" or whatever he is, 6'2", 6'3". Yeah, that's pretty impressive, to be honest with you.
And again, I don't think signing Odell stops Miami from drafting a receiver if a good one falls to them. And Odell Beckham, again, I see a lot of people say I don't want him, but this screams Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel's the one really pushing this button, saying, I would love to have this guy on my team. I think he fits this team. I think he fits the scheme, and I think he'll gel well with the other two guys that are there. And that's right. Scotty's absolutely right. Baltimore brought him out at $15 million to be their number one. That's probably he still thinks he's a number one and wants to be paid as such. I don't know. I haven't seen how much he wants to get paid. I've seen the number 11 million thrown out there. I don't know if that's him or people just throwing that number, say they value him at that. But if he's thinking, if he came to take the visit in Miami, knowing they have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, he does. I don't know how anyone could assume that he thinks he's a number one receiver. You know damn well he's not starting over Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. He's the third guy. I don't believe he thinks he's the number one receiver. I think Tyler Boyd, I think you're right, wants more. I think Tyler Boyd, who had 2 1,000-yard seasons, fell off a little bit when they brought in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. He may think, hey, I'm a number one receiver, and I want to be paid as such. Of course, being so in the mid of free agency, you still have after June 1st, they could be able to probably give a little more money. So keep an eye on that. And I'm not the biggest OBG fan, but he instantly becomes our best number three receiver. Yeah, so I'm on board with improving that. That's 100%. Again, I would not hate it. I would not hate it if he signed. I think it's a solid wide receiver 3, especially who he is and what he could do for the team. But also, I wouldn't hate it or be mad if he didn't, because again, I feel very confident in this class that Miami could come away with a solid number 3 who could potentially be number 2 or 1 next year or the year after. That's how talented this draft is at wide receiver. Talking about the draft, Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
Miami, the Dolphins were all over social media because you had GM Chris Grier, Frank Smith, our offensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, our defensive coordinator, and our head coach, Mike McDaniel, all at 2 pro days this week. One Texas, the other Michigan. At Texas, everybody was going nuts because Miami, Mike McDaniel was pictured with Chris Grier shaking hands with Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of Texas, the fastest guy in the draft. People call him the next Tyreek because of his speed. I think that's a little unfair to the rookie. Let him do his own thing. But people are like, oh, imagine it with this offense. Number 20, the 21st overall pick. However, the rumor is, or the report is that Miami went there not to look at Worthy, but to look at two other prospects. One, the nose tackle, T'Vondre Sweat, and the other, tight end, Ja'Tavion Sanders. So here are the notable prospects for Texas this season.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Murphy, defensive lineman. That dude is a stud. T'Vondre Sweat, a mammoth of a man. This dude is humongous. Ja'Tavion Sanders, talented tight end. Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver. Worthy, wide receiver. Halfback, Jonathan Brooks. Linebacker, Jalen Ford. And then wide receiver, Jordan Whittington. Fish tank. We signed Jonnu Smith. Obviously, we signed a lot of defensive linemen. But Miami, supposedly, looking at T'Vondre Sweat, Ja'Tavion Sanders. If the 21st overall pick is the pick, and Miami stays there, and they take Ja'Tavion Sanders, your reaction is what?
Right on. All right, you're talking at 55?
I would say 21.
You're saying 21? No.
No.
He'd have to take him in the second round.
Okay.
If they take him at number 1, no, I would not be happy. I would much rather have Sweat, Murphy, Worthy, Xavier. No, he doesn't make sense to take there, but he makes sense to take in the second round or if he's sitting there for our 55.
I agree. I think edge is more of a need. Miami still has to bring a guy in to fill that kind of role. And Miami, though, has done a solid job filling as many needs as they have possible. So that way they could go BPA or whoever they believe is BPA. Okay. Anyway, Fitz is just trying to confuse me here, and then I know what he's doing. He's doing the joke. But here's another question for you. Here's the same to stick with Ja'Tavion Sanders. 55 or 21. We send Jonnu Smith. You're still cool with drafting Ja'Tavion Sanders at 55?
Oh, absolutely.
Right
absolutely. Look at it this way. Say you get OBJ and our 3 wide receiver sets done. Then you have Jonnu Smith and Ja'Tavion Sanders on the other side. I mean, come on. And then you got Mostert and whoever else in the backfield coming out. Come on, man. You can't cover that. You can't cover that. There's no way. The only difference is Sanders has the same problem that we've had before. He's not a blocker. I mean, if you're getting him, you got to realize that he's going out to get the ball. He's not a big-time blocker. So,
well, obviously that's not his forte. He does block. No. He's a willing blocker. And if he's a willing blocker, unlike other guys we've had in the past, you could coach him up to be a better blocker. Now with T'Vondre Sweat, I love his size. He has a lot, very good. He's flashy on film, but there's also for me at times where it comes to 21, where I'm not comfortable because there's times I felt like he took time off. When I was watching, I watched 3 games of just T'Vondre Sweat. The tape shows T'Vondre Sweat points him out, but my eyes kept diverting to Byron Murphy. That dude was nonstop. Where T'Vondre Sweat, sometimes, he blow up and everybody fell around him. He's blocked by 2-3 guys. Yeah, which is awesome to see. And you're like, dude, this guy is what? But there was other times where it felt like when he wasn't, where he kind of slowed it down. His motor wasn't as so. I love T'Vondre Sweat, but at 55 or later, not 21.
That's what I was gonna say. I wouldn't be taking him at 21. There's no way. I just said I would take him at 21 before Sanders.
Yeah,
that's what I would.
I get that.
Take him before Sanders personally. That's just me. I don't think we need a tight end as much as you need a nose tackle, especially somebody that big. And like you said, he's taken time off, and I understand why. His lack of conditioning. And trust me, he goes to Miami, he's going to be he would go through the conditioning, trust me.
And I will say
he would have to get down just because of the heat alone. He would have to get down for his own health.
Yeah.
So,
and I will say,
you can't pick him up as a first rounder. No.
And again, that's us talking. The team might feel differently. They might say, hey, and hey, those guys got that job for a reason. I'm just stating my opinion based off what I saw. I'm not saying I know more. However, I will say, Scotty says this is very interesting to hear how we are still very interested in tight end. And Scotty knows. Scotty's been watching all the shows and me and him go back and forth. But as I've said before, and I know Scotty knows this, to me, signing any of these guys does not stop Miami from drafting any of these positions. Miami is setting themselves up where they could go luxury pick and say, okay, we don't need a tight end now, so now we don't have to reach for Ja'Tavion Sanders at 21. We could go get the best prospect available, whoever that may be. Who knows who falls? Maybe one of those top receivers do fall. Maybe one of the top edge rushers, as you said, Latu from UCLA, Chop Robinson, Jared Verse. Any of those guys fall. Miami now doesn't have to reach for a tight end or a receiver if they go LBJ or a nose tackle or DT. They easily go get the best edge rusher available. Then at 55, then you go get somebody. Okay, we still need offensive line, even though Miami has filled out some good depth options. Graham Barton, Zach Frazier, Jackson Powers. Miami is setting themselves up. Just because they sign these guys doesn't mean they're not going to go get these guys. So when I saw Ja'Tavion Sanders was still a player of interest for them, I was excited because I was like, okay, Miami is not playing around. Jose says, we'll see. I'm sorry. I wish Miami would sign up for the draft. I wish Miami would sign Clowney usually. So Clowney was one of my free agents that I would have liked Miami to sign as a depth option. I know the Jets are in on him right now, but I think it would be good for Miami if that was one of their priorities, was to sign somebody like that. So that way you'd have to go to the draft having to grab a edge rusher. But there's plenty of damn good edge rushers in this draft as well, especially at the top, if they can fall.
There is. There's like defensive tackles. There's everything. The only thing that you don't have an abundance of is, I don't know. I don't think cornerback is as talented as it's been. I don't think safety is either. But for the most part, the big guys, they're available and they're great players in this draft. So I think Miami is totally setting themselves up for the line. They brought in all this depth. I think a lot of it is depth, in my opinion. Even though they brought in Brewers or for the center, and they brought all these other people in. I think that covers it, like you said, but that's the minimum coverage. You still need depth. You still need a couple starters. I would still like to see an offensive guard, a real nice offensive guard center like JPJ. I would love to see him. When you're talking 21, he might be there. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
But, as far as these Texas guys go, though, Byron Murphy, I have him listed as my highest. That's my highest.
Oh, yeah. Just an update list. Just an update on Barry Jackson. Let me just see, on Odell from Barry Jackson. He says that because again, Jay Fowler from ESPN says Miami Dolphins want to pair Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle with veteran receiver Odell Beckham, but they are not willing to overspend. And Barry Jackson quote tweets, as we reported 2 weeks ago, the past 2 weeks, Dolphins can wait weeks on Odell Beckham to see if he comes around to the price point or wait on the draft. They're sticking to their budget. Smart move by Miami. Again, you could do that because, first off, you sign your guys behind them. You brought back Barrios, River Craycraft, whatever, and you have the draft. You could easily say, hey, Odell, I really want you, dude. Here's the number. You could join a team that's possibly in contention, who could be in contention, and help us get to that point. Or we could go look towards the draft and go get best receiver available, either 21 or 55. We're fine. That's up to Odell. If he gets more money elsewhere, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. See you later. Or he can say, you know what? I'm coming at your price. I'm coming at, let's get closer together and figure out a deal. Do that. But I like Miami's approach to this so far.
I understand Miami sticking to their guns and all that. But if it's only $1 million, make the right choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's $1 million, make the right choice. That's all I was saying.
Hey, 100%. Jamie, agree with you on that. I'm
Totally.
down with trading down.
I would love to trade back, Jamie. I would love it. I would love it, especially right to the second round. Go with somebody like the Panthers or the Cardinals. I'd love a trade back.
Scotty, you're not wrong, my man. And look what happened last year with drafting a corner, and when everybody thought he was going tight end, or O-line, he went corner. So you're absolutely right. It could be edge rusher or receiver. More than likely, I think it's edge rusher. Evan brought it up, reminded me the other day that Mike McDaniel has said that his preference at first-round picks is an edge rusher every year or every other year. So don't be shocked. I would love a trade down, but I'm hearing all these teams in the front of us want to as well. Might make it tough for sure. My hope would be is that the first 3-4 picks, hopefully 5, are going to be quarterbacks because that's going to push a lot of good talent down to Miami at 21, either for Miami to go BPA or to make a trade down more likely. 100%. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say I agree with Jose. That is my philosophy. Is building the trenches from inside out. If it was us, Jose, running Miami, I'd be all on board with you, brother. Let's go offensive line, defensive line, and work ourselves back. However, Miami has showed, as Scotty has said, that Miami is about this Chris Grier and company, and it looks like Mike McDaniel are about doing the skilled positions. Chris Grier said it last year. I didn't agree with him, but he said last year, hey, you guys are more worried about the offensive line than we are. Miami has confidence in their coaches and have their confidence in the offensive line.
Comment.
I know it, but it's something to remember when we're talking about this because I don't want Scotty to think, why are you guys talking about all these other guys? We need to focus on building the offensive line. We're not the Dolphins. I mean, we're not running the Dolphins. We're saying what we would do, but also talking about what Miami more than likely will do. I think Graham Barton at 21 would be a great pick if no one else higher than him is there. Plays guard, tackle, center. Perfect. Braden Fisk. I love him at FSU. That's my dude. We get him at 21 or 55. Would love it. Let me see here. I don't want to I agree. All idea of priority for Tanu is absolutely my favorite player. For us at 21, I'm just not hopeful. Hey, if Tanu is there, again, hard to pass up. But again, you're making a lot of great points. You sign Clowney, then you set yourself a trade down for TT or O-line. Best case scenario, yeah. But again, I'm thinking what what Miami more than likely could do. But let's talk about the other school Miami visited. Michigan. Fish Take talked about it. Notable prospects. We all know the only guy left off there was J.J. McCarthy. First off, I think he'll be drafted way ahead. And again, I think every position is possible for Miami other than QB, unless one of those top guys falls. Of course, it's always, you consider everything. But these are more than likely the process Miami was looking at. Chris Jenkins, another beastie tackle in the draft. Roman Wilson, wide receiver. Offensive lineman, Zach Zinter. Defensive back, Mike Sainristil. Junior Carlson, linebacker, like him, Mike linebacker. One of my top-rated running back right now in the draft is Blake Corum. I like him a lot. Offensive lineman, Trevor Keegan. Center, Drake Nugent. Tight end, A.J. Barner. And Hank brought him up earlier, wide receiver, Cornelius Johnson. Fish Tank, we talked about Cornelius Johnson, why you liked him for later in the draft, but is there anybody in this? And I haven't seen any names Miami particularly likes in Michigan. We know that Stephen Ross's alma mater. We know that they have I think 18 total draftable prospects that went to the combine, so they have the most in the draft right now for any university. Mm-hmm. But I haven't heard any specifics of who Miami might be looking at. But besides Cornelius Johnson, what's another name that if there is that you would love for Miami to target?
If Murphy, Sweat, and Fisk are gone from the board and you're sitting there at 55 and Chris Jenkins is on that board, you run up there and go get that guy. He's explosive athlete off the snap, both laterally and vertically. And he has this amazing strength at the point of attack also. He's one of those guys that's on the big board around 60. So that's why I say maybe if you're sitting at 55, he might be there. You pick him up. Another one might be a late round pick, like a 158, would be the offensive guard, Zinter. I like him. He's 6'5", 310. You know, he filled the spot really nice as a later round pick also. We've already talked about Cornelius Johnson. He's size, speed threat, 4.4 in the 40 combine. If he's there at 198, I'm taking him. If he's sitting at 198, I'm definitely taking him. But that's me. Then the last one you got is the center, which is Nugent. And he would also be somewhere between 220 and 240 on the board, and maybe at pick 241 if they don't get a center before there, just as depth, if nothing else, because I don't really trust Eichenberg.
Yeah, no. And again, Eichenberg should not be your starter. You need to get a guy who can come in and fill that role. Eichenberg at like a game basis, or if an injury goes down during a game and a guy needs to step out, I'm okay with that. But as your starting guy for the start of the season or at any certain length of time, you got to move that out. Josh Woodgate is in the house, co-host of On the Clock, the NFL draft coverage show for us on the network. Glad to have him. He says Chris Jenkins is his top defensive tackle, and he loves Junior Carlson, which he's been banging talking about him since the start of it before we watch anything. So really cool to see. Jenkins at 55 makes sense for sure. If you're in win now mode, rookie O-linemen in today's NFL are usually not ready. And then let's see. If you're Minnesota Vikings, would you trade 11, 23, the first round picks, 2025 first, and a 26 first? Wow. For Justin Herbert. I don't think.
No.
First of all, for Minnesota, I think that's a hefty price, unless they really think they're ready to compete now. But more for the Chargers, do you really do that? You know, you got a guy who had monster yards, a franchise guy, to take a step back and then hope one of these other guys fall to you. I think it's a step back for LA. I don't think Harbaugh would do that. I think Harbaugh went to LA because the guy's already in place and he could build around that guy. I think that's so. For Minnesota, I think that's a hefty price, but for LA, I would highly doubt they would trade Justin Herbert. Highly doubt that. That's just me. Right, Fish Tank? Right or wrong?
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. That's just too no. If they're gonna trade those 2 picks away alone, they're gonna be able to move up to like 4 or 5. You know, so.
See, and that's the other thing too. That's why I don't think that conversation right there. Herbert, I think, is right there with 2. I think he's, I don't think it's out of the realm to talk about would they trade or would the Chargers. Somebody asked me not too long ago, should the Chargers draft J.J. McCarthy? And it's like, wait, they got Justin Herbert. Well, first off, we know that the talent Justin Herbert has, but again, how many playoff games has he run? 1. You know what I mean? How much of a difference has he made with the star power that he's had? So again, I think if it was me, I'd say, no, I'm cool with what I got. I know what I have in him. He's still very young, just like Tua. And I'm going to go ahead and put weapons around. Los Angeles could trade down, gain more picks. Or if one of these top guys fall, Fish Tank, Malik Neighbors or whatever, pair him. You got Keenan Allen, you traded. You got Mike Williams gone. You get a younger talent, a fiery prospect like a Malik Neighbors with Herbert. I think that's a best case scenario. But that's just me. I mean, we're a Dolphin show talking about the Chargers, but we'll talk about anything. Me and Fish Tank just love football. So, moving on. So, let's see here. I don't want to miss anything. Let's see if there's any other updates popping up before we roll on here, Fish Tank. Fish Tank, you got any topics you want to talk about as we're going through here? Anything that's been on your mind about the Dolphins?
No, not really. I've been thinking more along the offensive line still myself. Everybody wants an edge rusher. I want a DT, an OG, and I really want them to get an offensive tackle, left tackle, somewhere in this draft, because who do we have backing up Armstead? What's our real backup plan for Armstead? Because he's going to be out.
We need to bring back Kendall Lamb, in my opinion.
He's going to be out 5 games. You know that already. At least 5. So nobody's talking about that, though. But I think we need an offensive tackle more than we need some of these other players. We need it more than a defensive tackle, in my opinion. We need it more than a guard right now. We need it more than a center right now. We need it more than a wide receiver. So that's just my opinion. I totally think we need a left tackle. And if one's sitting there, we should go after him.
Let me see here. Bobby, didn't Sean Payton go to didn't Peyton Manning go to Denver because of Wilson? Or did Sean Payton go there because of Wilson? That's the only reason I asked Herbert possibly trading Herbert. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think he did. I think Herbert is different from Wilson. Yeah.
He got rid of him.
Maybe because the scenario was, he's going to Denver because they have Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's older. And again, it maybe didn't fit his scheme where Jim Harbaugh had plenty of options, and they're high in the draft. And Herbert, again, young, and other people other than Miami fans, because of the Tua Herbert debate, always would say that Justin Herbert is one of the top young talents in the NFL with a big arm, with that raw talent. So I highly doubt that Harbaugh went to Denver or the Chargers thinking, I'm going to go ahead and just trade my young upstart quarterback that I already have on the roster and start all over. And, to me, it makes more sense getting rid of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen just because they're older, their contracts are huge. You need to get younger guys out there and guys who probably could last the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Denver for the money, yeah.
Yeah. But, hey, it is what it is. All right, so time to roll. Now, Fish Tank, last week we did no trades for the mock draft simulator. Do you want to continue that trend? Do you want to go ahead and consider trades today? I'll let you decide.
No, whatever you want. Whatever you want. I'm ready.
Okay. Let's do it.
I think I've gone through this draft enough. I think I know where people are sitting. And you got to have a plan. And if Miami doesn't go in with a good plan, we're going to be in trouble. And I hope their plan is to trade back. But we can stay on course. But one thing I want to add in there is you can't pick anybody that's 10 players lower than your pick. In other words, you can't take a number 11 player at 21. No.
An 11 player at 21?
Yeah, like if there's still somebody on the board that's like ranked at like 10 on the board, you can't take them at 21.
Why not?
Because I don't think they'll be there. That's why.
Here's the difference. Here's the thing.
First off, just putting in a hey.
I know.
How I wanted to play the game.
Okay, but I meant trade or trade down or no trades. But you got to first off, there's a lot of times where there's guys that are not supposed to be on the board that are on the board, and this is their board, not ours. Now you could, so
that's true. That is. Hold on.
That
is their board, not ours. But that's the one we have to go by.
I understand. So if that guy is available at that pick and you think that he's worth that pick, now you can skip him. Yeah. But if you're like looking at this guy is there now, of course, if you're thinking, the quarterback, but you got to, there's types of people fall.
Tell me if Marvin Harris is sitting there at 21, you feel guilt-free just picking him.
Hell yeah, he's on the board. This is different. This is different scenarios, Fish Tank. These are scenarios. This is what happens if the draft is up.
See, that's why I was taking the hokey out of it, is what I was doing. But okay.
Play around with it, my man. Just go have fun. But I was saying, do you want to do a trade? Because if Marvin Harrison is there and you're like, you know what? Wait a second. I'm getting a monster trade haul now. Would you take the trade?
I would take Marvin Harrison. The heck with the trades.
All right. So let me go ahead and Let me. Yes, I have. The reason why I use this, Scotty, this draft simulator is because it kind of runs more smoothly. There's no ads that pop up with sound and mess me up in my head here with the stupid audio. But yes, I've used different ones. MDC, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. What's up, Hank and Bobby and everybody? Great to see you. So yes, I have, and I've actually thought for me and Fish Tank to make it different to use another mock draft simulator to kind of see how that one played out. But let me look at more this week, and maybe next week we'll use a different one and roll with that and kind of see and play around. But let's do this one today. Trades available. Fish Tank can make a trade.
Well, if you decide to go with a different one, you have to download me, so because I have to at least look at the board how they have.
I'll send it to you. All
right. Give me a little bit of a chance.
You know I help you. You know I got you, brother. All right. Let me go ahead and share screen here. And again, 88 people tuning in right now from Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube. Appreciate everyone watching right now.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Looks like Tabitha's watching from Instagram. Great to see you in there. It's my baby sister. Love you, miss you. All right, so let's go ahead and share this screen. I'm not dead. It's fine for 33 and 39. Let's roll. I take that. All right. Okay.
Oh, I definitely take that, Dad Dean.
All right, Fish Tank, you're going to be on the clock.
Okay.
Go ahead and enter the draft here.
Did you decide if we're doing trades or not yet?
Yeah, you could trade. You can enter trades. Ooh. That's not a far drop. You got an extra pick. Can you see that, Fish Tank? Do you need me to tell you?
Yeah, I could see that. Let me get my glasses here.
Okay.
It's like this big for me, bro.
I got you, brother.
I have it on my big screen too, so I can't see the comments as people are trashing me today. All right, so what's next?
So first off, here's the two trades. So you got Detroit offering 29 and 61 to move up to 21. Right. The next one is the Rams offering 32 and 48 for 21 and 158. So that's two trade offers. Let's go ahead and look at who's on the board for you, Fish Tank. So Jackson Powers sitting there.
Chop, you got JPJ, you got Byron Murphy, you got Kool-Aid. You got a lot to choose from on there. I got to go with a trade, though. I have to. I like JPJ, but I have to trade. I got to go with a trade.
Now, which one would you get?
Let's counter Detroit real quick. Okay. So let's take away that. Let's take away that 61 and give me 73 and 164.
Okay.
And then tell them that we want a fourth.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Oh, you just went for it already. All right.
No, I haven't done nothing yet. All right. 4th round pick. There you go. It's been accepted.
Bam. I'll take that because now I can do one more trade. Now, next. So, 47-70. Let's counter. They want to give me a Seattle 5th. Take that off and put down 107.
There's those three?
Yep.
All right. It's rejected.
All right. Then we'll move on. We'll pick now then.
All right.
Because I like what we have on the board. JPJ, take them.
There you go. Jackson Powers Johnson after the trade down.
I'll take them.
All right.
What are my picks, Bobby?
You have 55, 73, 158, 164, 184, 198, and then 231.
Okay. All right. What are the trade offers? I looked at the board already.
So Baltimore is 93, 113, a third and a fifth.
No.
Nothing?
Yeah, no trades. No trades. I got somebody on the board I like.
Who do you got?
Let's scroll down a little bit and see who else is there real quick. I don't want to pass up anybody. Whoa. Wow, there's a lot to like on here. Well, just because the Dolphins went and looked at them doesn't mean I'm going to take them. So let's scroll back the other way a little bit, please. Not so fast this time. Okay. Now I'm going to go with BB, the guard.
All right. So doubling down on offensive line. Jose's going to love it.
Got our center, got our guard.
Yep, Braden Fisk.
No, we ain't taking that Bengals trade. That's a reject.
All right, 2 rejects.
Well, let's see. 85 and a fourth. Let's counter. Take away that fourth and give me 156, 206 or 204, whatever that is.
Accepted.
There you go. All right. Now we're ready.
All right. You want to ignore this trade?
Yeah, ignore all of them. I'm not taking any more trades.
All right. Let's go up
now
here.
I want Devontae Walker.
Wide receiver, Devontae Walker.
Wide receiver, yep.
You got it.
That's one of my favorites. I like him. Okay, so we're done with offense. Now we're going to have to go with some defense. We're going to take Tyler Davis sitting right there out of Clemson.
There you go. You're up.
Edge is sitting right there after it. Take him up. Solomon.
There you go. All right.
I love the way this board's coming out for me. So many choices. Let's go with the guy out of Oregon State. I love him. Safety. I can't say his last name, but I like him. Okay. Let's take a look at what we have left for running backs. Can you go into the running backs? I want a big guy. That's what I'm looking for, is a big body right now. Isaiah Guerrero.
6 foot, 221.
Yep.
Good with him?
That's the one I wanted. Yep.
All right. $198.
198. Who do we have? Let's check our wide receivers.
Cornelius.
Take them. Bang. Yes. All right. Now we'll take Holker, tight end.
There you go. And the last pick's coming up, 241.
241. Well, you know, got to go edge.
You want to go best edge rusher?
Yep.
All right. Anderson?
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
What's up, Sharif? Thank you for tuning in, my man. Appreciate you. Scotty, Bobby, where do you see Worthy going at this point? How high do you have him on your board? I'm still working on wide receivers. I did get Worthy. I did. Obviously, you see the speed. You see the electricity. You see where he can make those monster plays. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking him at 21. I think there are better weapons that could be about if you're talking wide receiver at that spot. Let me see where I have him right now. Again, I'm not done with receivers, but that kind of jumped, didn't it?
Hey, Bobby.
I have him. Yes, sir.
I did all that, and I still had a Detroit fourth in there. You must have not unclicked it.
No, I think you asked for it.
Oh, did I say keep it in there? All right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Right now, Scotty, I have a second round grade on Worthy, early second round grade. But again, I appreciate you not holding me to it because we're still working through it. We do we watch a couple games and then I'll go back and follow up because they to try to adjust everything. If I have to.
What do you think of this draft, Bobby?
Man, let me tell you. Okay, so first off, Jackson Powers, Justin, after the trade down, you get Jackson Powers at 29. After you just signed Aaron Brewer, I love it. Because, again, you could put Powers Johnson at center, move Brewer to guard, or vice versa. Then you go Cooper Bebe. Again, you got Isaiah Wynn there, but you can plug any of those guys there or depth. Love that move. Devontae Walker, good size, speedy receiver, like him a lot. Tyler Davis, again, obviously not the top-rated defensive lineman, but with the solid depth that you have at defensive line, he'll fit right in. I love that. Cornelius Johnson and Dalen Holker. Dalen Holker for sure. I mean, at 206 is amazing value.
Yeah.
Put him in there with Jonnu Smith. I think that was the
him on
best
the board. I was like, all right, there's one of those. You got to be kidding me. I'll take him.
Yeah. I think for sure Dalen Holker later in the draft is him and Cornelius are my two favorites, but Dalen for sure later in the draft.
I like Catan out of Oregon State too, safety. I like
Oladapo, safety out of Oregon State.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, guys. What do you think of Fish Tank Hank's mock draft? Let's see. Yeah, you see, I'm with you, Scotty. So there you go. Fish Tank makes a couple trades, hits on some big guys there. Jackson Powers, Cooper Bebe, Devontae Walker, Taylor Davis, Cornelius, and Dalen Holker late at 206. Great value for that pick. And gains a fourth rounder for next season as well. What's up, Hammer Time? And again, right now, between Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, YouTube, we have 105 people tuning into us right now at Fish Tank. Appreciate everyone watching.
Thanks for riding with us.
Absolutely.
All right, Bobby, let's get into the meat and bones of this now.
All right.
What you got?
Let's roll, my man. Hammer time. Great to see you, brother. All right.
All right, I got to put on my glasses so I can see what's going on.
All right. Here we go. And if anybody's commenting on Instagram, I apologize. I'm not looking right now, but I will in just a minute. Let me go ahead and look at Instagram, make sure. Got Courtney watching, Harrison, No Filter Photos, Tabitha watching. Very cool, very cool. Appreciate everyone watching right now.
Wow.
All right.
That's a really nice first trade offer.
Yes.
Wow.
So first, let me go ahead here. Let's take a look at who is on the board. All right. Yep. Brian Thomas is there, the wide receiver. Everybody's Tyreek Hill's favorite receiver for Miami at that pick, Byron Murphy, Chop Robinson, Jackson Powers, all available. And we got 3 trade offers to explore. So I'm comfortable either rejecting those deals and taking a pick or taking the pick because I think someone's going to be there when I do trade down. So first off, trading down in Minnesota, 23, 108, 177. Indianapolis, 46 and 82, 117, and a second. Wow. Okay. For 21 and 158. In there. Okay, so I'm going to reject that. All right. I trade down a couple spots and get 2 extra picks. I'm going to do that because I could still make a trade after that, but I get 2 extra picks and I need them.
Yeah,
there you
2
go.
Spots for 2 picks, you can't go wrong with that, especially when one's in 100. It's right at 100, right where you're needing some. Oh, look at these, man.
So this right here, I don't even need to adjust this at all. This is basically you're trading down from 23 to either 27 or 29, but basically trading up from 158 to 61 or 158 to 66 fish tank.
Yeah. I always take the lower.
Here I only trade down 4 spots.
Yep.
And I trade up to 66.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do this deal here because they're very similar.
All right.
I stay within that range. I'm going to take that. I'm not going to worry about this right now.
That's the deal I would have taken, by the way.
There you go. Reject. So right now I've added 2 extra picks. Okay, I'm cool with that. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there at 27.
Wow. You got a nice run coming up, Bobby.
I see it. All right. 2 of my guys are on there. And
awesome.
Man, I'm looking at I feel our defensive line, I see Byron Murphy sitting there and I'm very eager to take him.
Don't do it.
But I'm thinking about offensive line. And again, I know what the Dolphins may do. But I'm talking about what I would do in this situation. Yeah. And a guy I see here, he could play center, he could play guard, and he could play tackle. Fishtank was just talking about it. What happens if Armstead goes down? In this scenario, if Armstead goes down, you plug in Graham Barton there. So I'm going to roll with Graham Barton as my first pick.
Great pick. I like him.
Oh. Let me go ahead here. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's plenty of good players here. I'm going to do this so I can add that 90th pick, Fish Tank. This will be my final trade.
Really?
I'm going to roll
a
right
little
there.
bit of a surprise. Means you had 66 on the board. I was a little surprised. But that's what I guess you figured. It'll still be there when you get there.
That's right. And my guy is there, Fish Tank. I skipped Byron Murphy, but I see him there. Brady Fitz. I love him.
Yeah.
Talk about building the trenches, and I got it. I'm going to go ahead and block that one there.
A big time player there.
This thing jumping around on me. All right. Okay, so we got a tackle. We got a guard. We got offensive line, defensive line. Now, let's look at edge and let's look at receiver. Marshawn Nealand, still on the board here. I've liked what I saw. I just watched him yesterday. I like what I saw from him yesterday. So I'm comfortable taking him, absolutely, at this pick in the 3rd round. Let me look at the rest of the edges here. Let me see something very quick. Let me jump over to my thing very quick, Fish Tank. Oh, got a 3rd round, right? A 3rd round grade on him right now. So I'm right on the bread and butter. Let me go back to receivers for a second and take a look at who's available. If not, Nealon's going to be my pick. Yeah. I'm going to go Nealon here. With Sean Nealon, edge rusher. No. All right.
That was where I took Walker.
Yeah. Now, I got the 90th pick. Walker is on the board. Trotter is on the board. Braylon Allen, talk about a physical back. People were talking about Derrick Henry. That dude's a physical back. I got to watch more of him. I don't want to say, but Jonathan Brooks, another good one.
Got
but
Trotter
I am between.
on there too.
I see him.
You got a lot of good players. You're going to have to make a hard decision, Bobby.
Let me see it. I know it. Okay. You know what, Fish Tank? I got Barton guard. You went a center and a guard in the first for you. I'm thinking about this, but where do I have safety? Let's go ahead and pull this up. Yeah, no. I'm going safety here, Fish Tank, because even though Miami brought in Jordan Poyer, they got Javon Holland, they were still interested in bringing in Deshaun Elliott. Poyer is only going to be here for 1 year. I am going to roll with the guy that I have a second-round grade on is Javon Ballard, Georgia safety. This is the third round, pick 90. I'm going there. Look at that. Wow. This is like falling exactly for me. I haven't.
Talk to us, Bobby. What are you thinking?
Man, I am analyzing here. I mean, see Jonathan Brooks sitting there, running back out of Texas. But again, Kate Stover. Let me jump the defense here.
I don't know. That'd be hard to pass up.
Who?
The running back.
Yeah.
That's
okay. All right.
That's who I like sitting there, but that's just me.
I hear you.
I don't know who all you've drafted so far either.
So let's look at who's been drafted. Graham Barton, Braden Fisk, Marshawn Nealon, and Javon Ballard.
So you went mostly defense and one offensive guard. All right.
Let me go back to my board here because I'll roll off of that for a second. Because I see one guy still there. Best player available.
BPA.
It's Kate Stover for me. I don't think I've looked at Jonathan Brooks. Let's see. Do I have Brooks? Yes, I do. 6'11". And Stover. I'm going to go Stover here. I have him high. I have him rated higher. I like him.
Yeah. I know you liked him, so.
Let's see here. All right. Ooh. Christian Jones out of Texas, offensive tackle. I'm going to roll with that.
Yeah, I would. Definitely. Nice pick, Bobby.
Now, looking here. Christian Boyd. That's a guy that getting a lot of noise. I watched him recently. I think this pick's not bad, but let me see if there's anyone else here. You know what? At this point, I will go Christian Boyd. He's higher. He's on my board at this pick. It's good value. Defensive lineman out of Northern Iowa. Miami just met with him. All right. Look at receiver here. Isaiah Williams. Running back. Let's see here. I have on here to watch some guys that were sent to me, and I will get to them. Let's just go BPA here. I think I didn't get him. I didn't. So I like him, but he's too small. We already got small guys. This guy I like. I'm going to get another edge rusher. And I see you. Oh.
Here it comes, right. Bobby.
Here it comes.
Most important pick.
Yeah, all right. Let's add to our linebacker room. Go Jackson Mitchell. And booyah. There you go. There's the finale. Graham Barton played guard, center, tackle. I know Scotty is not a bigger fan than him or of him. But again, I think it's just the versatility on the offensive line. He's a very good player. I like him. Braden Fisk is, my top-rated tackle, D-tackle. Love his energy. Loved his film. Love what he did at the combine, obviously. Sean Nealon, edge rusher. Gives you good depth. Again, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb supposedly are on track to start the season, but this gives you solid depth. Javon Ballard, I have a second-round grade on him, and I got him in the third round. Safety, love that. You pair him with Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland. I love the secondary. Kate Stover, tight end. Again, you add him to your tight end room with Jonnu Smith. Goodness gracious, Christian Jones. Again, what happens to Taron Armstead? You get some solid depth there. You can put him at right or left tackle. Boyd, Miami just met with him. Give you some depth on that D-line. Edge rusher, Zion Tupola Fatui. I have not watched much of him at all. I have to, but again, just adding depth. And then Jackson Mitchell, linebacker. Finding another safety is key. Absolutely. And Ballard at that pick is good value. What do you think, Fish Tank?
I thought in there a couple places you might take a running back, but that was about it. It. I mean, the board was falling nice for you. You had multiple picks each time where you could have went one way or the other. So it was just a matter of choice, and you made some great choices, in my opinion.
Thank you. Yeah. And honestly, again, when I saw Braylon Allen sitting there, I've loved what I've read up. I've been reading on him, but I have not had a chance to watch him. So I want to be able to watch him first before I can say I would draft him. But again, that's where I was leaning towards a running back at that point. But I couldn't pass on someone like Ballard, who has a second-round grade, and he's sitting there in the third round. You've got to – and that's me. And people go, oh, I don't have a third. But to me, that dude's – I love what I watched from him. So getting him at that spot to pair him with those two guys, I was happy for. Scotty says that's a solid draft. Well, Cool. Appreciate it. Scotty, I had a solid draft. I feel pretty damn good right now. All right. Let's get it back out. Make sure I hit the right thing here. There we go. Better than nothing. All right. So let's make sure we're not missing anything out here before we wrap this up. Me and Fish Tank hang every Saturday, 12 Eastern. Coached my first flag football practice yesterday, Fish Tank, with Tristan. It was fun. Yeah, I got to drop some plays here. The kids were great. They were excited about playing. I felt better. I love doing the basketball, but I felt better coaching the football than I was because I'm more in my zone. So maybe I'll tell kids, hey, no, don't throw the ball like this. Hold it here, put your fingers in the laces, spin it, and then when you're running the ball, don't get scared because they get scared. They're 6-year-olds,
Hey, throwing the ball, there's only two things you need to teach them. Throwing the ball, Bobby.
What's that?
Just like Dan Marino was taught. You know what the ball does? It goes up and out.
Up and out. That's it. Get it to the guy. There was one kid who was just overthrowing, kept overthrowing, but he was just, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to work with it. But it was a good first practice. We got some plays drawn up. I got a play called Crisscross Applesauce. They really thought was funny, so I'm excited about doing that. But anywho,
you'll have to make up some Cocoa Puffs or something.
Oh, dude, I got some names there. I got Go Power Rangers, different things. I'm gonna have fun with those names.
Right on.
Anywho, let me finish the final comments here. It looks like it's about wrapped up. So Dolphins should trade down in this draft. Absolutely, unless a guy is there that absolutely you cannot pass on, you need extra picks. So either at 21 or 55, trading down just to get 1 or 2 extra picks. I think you got to do it. You have to trade. I think
I think you got to take a chance in the first round because you get to 55, you won't get enough juice to get enough between 55 and 158. There's a lot to make up in there, and I don't know if you can do it without even if you just drop down a couple slots like it worked out for you really good, down to 23. You drop to 23 and get 100 and a 177. The 100's the no-brainer right there. Yeah, it's 2 spots, definitely. And you had a few people on the board, and I'm sure they'll have a few people on the board too.
Yeah. Yeah, implement some smash mouth football out there, buddy. Damn right, brother. We need that. We need some physicality.
Physicality in flag football.
Damn right. Damn right. Pull the flag. It's right there. No, we had fun. We had fun.
You got a lights out play yet? You got a lights out play that you like to go to? Your go-to?
Well, no, I'm working on that because yesterday it was the first practice. So yesterday was getting a chance to see who could throw it a little better, who could catch it a little better, who's the fastest, who does better. There was a kid that his cuts were ridiculous. I mean, he was and I was like, whoa! I was like, he didn't catch it, he got scared. But I was like, okay, I just got to work on that part right there. But little by little. Anywho, Fish Tank, any final thoughts?
No, I had a great day here today with you. I think you beat me this time. I'm gonna tip my hat to you and say you got me. But I would still be happy with my draft.
For sure.
And I just want to thank everybody for coming out and joining us. We love having you folks in the comments and keeping us on our toes.
100%. Well, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Everyone who tuned in from X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you watch, we appreciate you joining us. Do us a favor, hop on over to YouTube next week so you could join in the conversation. If you don't like what me and Hank are saying or doing, we'd love to hear from you. Open arms. So until then, like, subscribe, and always, most importantly, Dolphin fans, fins up.